Welcome back, folks. This is the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Hot.
And I'm Barack the Boxing Bully.
Great for you to join us. Yesterday, big, massive fight was announced in the UK. It's time for our countrymen to do the same. We're going to talk big fights that were made and big fights that are about to be made, hopefully, on the opening bell. Barack, we're going to kick it off with, we all know that Conor Ben Eubank Jr. was announced yesterday. Massive fight. I mean, people are talking about it might be the biggest fight in British history or one of them. There's a fight in this country that America's been waiting on for a very long time. Two elite welterweights in their prime. Well, guess what? According to Dan Rayfield, per sources, the deal with Spence Crawford is near completion, and the fight is penciled in for November 12th or the 19th in Las Vegas. Barack, you and I have heard things like this before. And if you know me, you know that I'm okay with marination. One thing about me, when people say fights need to happen, I say, relax. There are other fights out there. But this time, Barack, I'm all the way in. This fight has to happen. Are we going to let the UK upstage us now? I say this in fun and all love. We love the UK fans. We love boxing out there. It is thriving. But let's keep up with them at least. Eubank Ben is a massive, legendary fight. Spence Crawford, find a way to make it happen. I know there are a lot of things that play a part in this, Barack. Money, promoters, networks, and so on and so forth. But there's no more important fight than this one right here. We have to keep up with this momentum.
People are saying that this fight should have happened years ago. I think that's nonsense. First of all, Crawford just got to the welterweight division in 2018. That's 4 years ago. These guys are still in their prime right now, both of them, Spence and Crawford. His first fight was a championship fight for the WBO. Now, in 2018, Spence had the IBF, Sean Porter had the WBC, Keith Thurman had the WBA, and Bud had the WBO. So that's 4 champions. Anybody could fight anybody. And at that time, PBC was for some reason, was kind of like blackballing Terence. Like, we don't want to fight you right now. We can keep it in-house, and we got champions.
Barack, can I chime in? They were really not acknowledging.
Literally 3 champions.
They were not acknowledging Bud Crawford as a champion during that.
Exactly. They wasn't even acknowledging him as a champion because of their relationship with the WBO. But you got 4 different champions, so that wasn't the time for them to fight. Any one of those 4 guys can fight each other at that particular time. Fast forward, 2019, the WBA champion is now Manny Pacquiao. The WBC champion is still Sean Porter for most of that year, and the IBF is still Errol Spence, and WBO is still Bud. 4 different champions. Anybody can fight each other. At the end of the year, I believe it's September, is where Errol Spence became unified champ. And then he was trying to fight Manny Pacquiao. But in 2019, 1 month later after Errol Spence fought Porter, he got into a car accident. A very dangerous car accident that could have killed him and others. And guess what? The pandemic happened in 2020. So where is this time that it had to have happened? No, it didn't have to happen. In 2021 and 2020, late 2020, Errol Spence came back and fought Danny Garcia. 2021, he unified. And also, in all of that time period, Terence Crawford fought 3 undefeated fighters.
Yeah.
Now they came to an undisputed fight. This is the ideal time. It has to happen. Now, if it doesn't happen, we can say it should have happened in 2022. But no other time should it have happened. Now was the right time.
Now, with that being said, and phenomenal breakdown, Barack, as fight fans, we like to play matchmaker sometimes. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with fans back then wanting to see that fight because they foreseen these guys being the top 2 guys in the division because they were great fighters. But it wasn't.
It's not like other fights that had to. Manny Pacquiao should have fought Floyd Mayweather years prior to their fight. That's obvious.
Even that, I don't agree with, because I think that fight was. Obviously, it still stands as the most successful fight
That's not
revenue-wise in history. And these guys are the same age. People always talk about, Floyd fought Pacquiao when he was X. Well, he was older than Pacquiao. So that fight was even Steven, in my opinion. I think it happened at a great time. Now, yeah, maybe it could have happened 2-3 years earlier. But
yeah,
in terms of this fight, there's no better time. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, yes, years ago, I said these guys are going to end up and they're going to clash. They're the best guys in the division, right? But when it comes to the guys that, because I've been seeing on social media, guys been talking about, somebody put out a tweet recently saying that Bud Crawford hasn't fought a champion since 2018. Now, again, here we go with the champions. Barack mentioned these guys were tied up and Terence was being blackballed. They wasn't giving him opportunity to fight any of those guys. It wasn't his fault. But guess what? He was fighting top names and beating them better than any other guy in the division has done so, right? And guys that made it not, they were not household names like Kavalauskas, but these guys are threats, and he was stopping and dominating them. So the only thing he could do at the time was fight who was available and dominate, right?
And you know what, too?
He can do.
What that person probably said to you was, Terence Crawford didn't fight any current champions, since 2018, which was Horn. But guess what? It really wouldn't have mattered who he fought as long as he never fought Errol Spence. People will still complain. So I don't listen to that. I feel like it's the right time now. And
wait, hold on.
How better than they defeated everybody else in the division to show already that they're the best. Our eye test said that they were the best years ago, but now they've already proven it. So now it makes sense.
And I doubled down on that, and I agree with you, because I think people, no matter what, would have said something, because people were saying that Bud hadn't fought a PBC welterweight, which were the top welterweights in the world. And as much as we love Sean Porter on this show, look what he did with Sean Porter. After he beat Sean Porter the way he did, guess what people were saying? Sean Porter was already on the way out. He already had retirement on his mind. If you know Sean Porter, you know that he was going in this fight as in shape as he's ever been for every fight. This is the type of guy that doesn't play when it comes to getting ready for a fight. So don't give me that, Sean Porter was on his way out. Terence Crawford beat typical Sean Porter. He goes into every fight with the same mentality. It wasn't an easy fight. He's just that great. So yes, people are always going to have something to say. Now, I'm not going to go here and say, the only reason why I'm defending Terence Bud Crawford is because of the way he's being attacked. Now, at the same time, I'm going to say that Errol Spence has done everything possible as well, everything he had to do to remain at the top. He's been capturing belts in the division. Even in the midst of the accident, the pandemic, he's fought top-level opposition. Say what you want about Danny Garcia. Look what he just did at the junior middleweight division. And Errol coming off an accident, beating him the way he did. And I was in Dallas when he unified against Ugas. Phenomenal performance. He fought a real threat, a real welterweight champion who earned that title by beating Manny Pacquiao. So Errol has done everything possible to stay on the top, and he is the best welterweight in the world. He holds the most straps right now. So you have to consider him that. He's one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And Bud has been blackballed, has been dominating everything that's been put in front of him. There is no other direction that either guy needs to go in. This is for the undisputed welterweight title. And we know both guys deserve a big purse. We know that this is, I guess, one of, if not the biggest fight in boxing. People talking about Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia is huge. Yes, people, Triple G Canelo, massive fight coming in September. But this fight has to happen in 22. Don't want to wait to 2022.
Every time we say biggest, we're talking about money. Throw that word out. This is the most important fight we've seen, or we're going to see in many, many, many years.
In the last decade,
the most important fight there is. That's it.
This is the most important fight since Oscar De La Hoya and Tito Trinidad. This is the most important fight in boxing since that time, with two elite talents, both on the pound-for-pound list and undefeated, fighting each other. And guess what? It's at the same division, the 147-pound division.
This is like Mike Tyson fighting Holyfield. This is like Tito fighting Oscar De La Hoya. This is like Hearns fighting Hagler. Like, this is it for us right here. This is it.
Fight needs to happen. And as I said early on in the show, man, Conor Ben, Eubank, their legacy goes from their fathers, so it's long stem. But these guys, they haven't been them themselves haven't been a viral. I know they talked about it in the amateurs, but you see how they jumped on that fight. Conor Ben is willing to go up and wait.
That's because secretly, Conor Ben's heart, Eubank is a rival. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
His father-in-law.
He
is a rival.
But they haven't been campaigning in the same weight class and been attached to each other the way Crawford and Spence has in the last 4 or 5 years. So that's what I'm saying. So, hey, PBC, Bud, EJ, let's make it happen. They're both going to make tons of money. And I understand. I mean, I've been hearing whispers about why it hasn't been closed off. But hopefully Dan is right. Big Dan is right on this one. And we get the fight in November. Let's keep that momentum going of big fights being made.
Speaking of big fights, Fury versus Chisora. Whoa.
Yeah, maybe a big fight, but not an important fight. And no disrespect to those guys. A huge fight. We know what both guys mean to the British boxing community. But in terms of, stylistically, most people would say that there's no way Chisora can beat Tyson at that size and his boxing ability. But these guys are friends, and they're both going to make a lot of money. A lot of people are saying, hey,
they better not get a pass.
This is Fury.
What I'm saying is
hooking his man up with a nice payday.
That's what I'm saying. If you remember, I'm not saying that's right. Remember what Fury said years ago? He said, I want to get Chisora, in before I retire. He said this years ago. Yeah. He's doing him a favor, and this is the thing. Like, remember when Floyd fought Andre Berto for his last fight, before Conor McGregor, that is, for his last real fight? People was giving him so much trouble for that. Meanwhile, if Andre Berto was fighting any of these other guys at that particular time, that was 2015. That was 7 years ago. Berto was still a threat for any welterweight. But Floyd is just Floyd. He's great. Nobody would have been a threat to him. I don't care who it was. Amir Khan, nobody would have been a threat to Floyd. So they gave him so much flack for that. They better come down hard on Fury for taking this fight when there are champions out there like Usyk, or the winner of Usyk and Joshua, and there's guys out there who are top guys in the division where you can actually prove, if you beat them, that you're one of the best heavyweights.
But Barack,
with a win over Wilder and a win over Klitschko 7 years ago, that's not enough.
It's not enough. And Barack, like Floyd, being as big as he was, he didn't care what people said. He did what he wanted. Tyson Fury's in the same position. He's such a big star. He's made so much money. He didn't accomplish
what Floyd has accomplished.
I
Floyd was at that point where
he could.
Manny was at that point where
I'm not talking about accomplishments.
Floyd, not
I'm
really.
not talking about accomplishments. I'm talking about the start of the years in his country. He is so big. He's still going to get paid top dollar. Right now, he can do whatever it is that he wants.
And that's cool.
Right? If he wants to hook his boy up, he can do it. What I'm saying is this. I'm agreeing that it's not an important fight for his legacy, but there has to be some level of respect for you caring about another fighter that much that you're willing to come out of retirement
and that's
to
a
make
beautiful
sure he
thing.
gets the pay.
No, that's a fake retirement.
But yes, Barack, yes, I agree. I want to see Fury Usyk.
Why'd you start yelling all of a sudden out of nowhere?
Fury Joshua. Fury
what I don't
Usyk,
like.
Fury whoever else.
All right, when you finish yelling, what I don't like is that you start making up this WWE, because whenever something's fake, we always call it WWE, but you start making up, Derek Chisora, you're such a ish house, you're such a this, you're such a that. Stop it. That's fake. That's phony. Call it what it is. Call it what it is.
You want him to be genuine for this promotion.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
I respect that.
Because nonsense. Even Floyd said at the end of his career, he said, I'm going to fight either so-and-so or Andre Berto. And that's it. He gave it to you. He didn't say, oh, well, you know what? I think Andre Berto is one of the best guys. He said Andre Berto is like a B, whatever he thought Andre Berto was, B or C class fighter. I don't know. But whatever he thought, he was truthful. You know what I mean? Yeah. He said, it's my career. I can fight whoever I want to fight. That's what he should do. Instead of us trying to make this into, I got animosity against this guy. I don't like him. I want to fight him.
I have a feeling that we might see a different Tyson Fury if this fight actually gets made. A different approach to this fight. He's probably going to bow out as a gentleman and go out with being, with what we're talking about, being genuine about why he's making this fight happen. Nevertheless, still a massive fight. Ben Eubank, massive fight made. All we need is Spence Crawford made. So hopefully all of these news are it's going to mean something maybe by the end of this week, maybe next week, because November is approaching. All right, folks, that's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.